have called in saying, how can you call it Jesus or Muhammad? They're totally different. Right. What we're telling Muslims is you have to pick one. You can either follow Jesus or you can follow Muhammad. We're not saying they're on the same level. For instance, in the Bible where it says you cannot follow both God and money, it's not saying that God and money are on the same level. It's saying you have to pick one. You pick. Either choose to follow God or choose to follow the money, but you can't choose to follow both. So that's what we're saying. Jesus or Muhammad, you can't follow both because they preached a different message. Now, the brother pointed out that Muslims typically believe God can't enter into His creation. And as a sister who called in earlier pointed out, even according to the Quran, Allah appears in the fire to Moses. So there's the fire, Moses looks at it, and God talks to him out of the fire. Well, if God can appear in a fire, why can He not appear in a human body? It's just strange for Muslims to say that an angel can enter into the creation, Allah can enter into a fire, but Allah just can't enter into this world. And it becomes even more strange when we read the Quran and we read the Hadith. Think about this. According to the Quran, Surah 69:17, when Judgment Day comes, 8 angels are going to carry Allah around on His throne. So what are you telling me here? That 8 angels are going to carry around Allah? He's in a specific place. Well, if Allah can be on a throne, why can't He enter into this creation and be in a certain place? In Sahih al-Bukhari, your most trusted collections of Ahadith, Volume 9, Muhammad says, every night when it is the last third of the night, our Lord, the Superior, the Blessed, descends to the nearest heaven and says, is there anyone to invoke me that I may respond to his invocation? So Allah travels from the highest heaven to the lowest heaven. Allah actually travels around in our universe to come hear people's prayers. Also, in Volume 9 of Sahih al-Bukhari, Allah starts appearing to people in different forms at the Judgment Day. So there's Judgment Day, Allah starts appearing to people in all kinds of forms and they don't know what to believe. And they have trouble recognizing what Allah is because He's changing His forms. Finally, people are asked, do you know any sign by which you can recognize Allah? They will say, the shin, His shin bone, His leg. And so Allah will then uncover His shin, whereupon every believer will prostrate before Him. So think about this. Allah on Judgment Day, according to Sahih al-Bukhari, is changing His forms when people are looking at Him. And then they're asked, how can you recognize Allah? By His shin bone. So then Allah lifts up His robe and reveals His shin bone. My friends, if that's what's in your most trusted collections of stories from Muhammad, how can you say God can't enter into His creation when Allah is changing forms? He's appearing in a fire. He comes down out of the highest heaven, descends to the lowest heaven. He's being carried around by angels. He takes on all kinds of forms, and He has a shin. How can you say that Christianity that there's something wrong with Christianity? It just doesn't make sense.
And with that, we will take our next call. Thank you, David. We have Sam on air with us. Before we take your call, Sam, I just want to remind our viewers, for those of you watching clips online, we not only have clips on YouTube, we also have them on GodTube, ABN Tube, Muhammad Tube, Messiah Tube, African Tube, East Africa Tube, and World News online. So make sure that you type ABNSat, that's our username, online, and you can find hundreds of video clips of both Jesus and Muhammad, Jesus or Muhammad, I'm getting caught up with that other guy, or News and Views. So make sure that you check those out and rate your best clip. Right now we have Sam on air with us. Welcome to the show, Sam.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Hi, Mr. David.
Hello.
You know, I have a question. I watch most of your shows, but have you ever done anything on similarities between Islam and German Nazi?
No. I would say they share a hatred for the Jews. They're willing to eradicate the Jews. So yes, there are similarities.
There are destruction, the same thing.
They both considered themselves superior. So the German, the Aryan race was superior. Muslims are taught in the Quran that Muslims are the best of people. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's the only thing. You know, I saw something on Mormon, against Muhammad. So I wish if there is anything on Islam and Nazi, the similarities or anything like that. That's all what I want to share with.
Okay. Thank
yes,
you.
and we did bring up on a previous show the connection between the Holocaust, in which 6 million Jews were killed, and Islam. And lots of people don't know that the Grand Mufti in Jerusalem, so in the land of Israel, the Grand Mufti, the Muslim religious leader, was actually encouraging Hitler to continue killing the Jews, and he was actually telling Hitler to pick up the pace so that he could eliminate all Jews in Europe. And they actually had an agreement that after all the Jews in Europe were eliminated, Hitler was going to come down to the Middle East and eliminate all Jews there in the land of Israel. So it's just very interesting how when we remember the Holocaust, no one thinks of Muslims having anything to do with it. When the Grand Mufti, the Muslim religious leader in Jerusalem, was in Germany pleading with the Muslim leaders to pick up the pace and to get on with eliminating the Jews from Europe.
Thank you. We'll take our next call. Before we do, make sure that you stay tuned tonight, 9:45 p.m. David, Pastor Joseph, and Waleed Shubat will be live in the studio, as well as tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. and 9:45 p.m. will again be live in the studio. Make sure that you stay tuned for that. Right now we have Sister Magdalene on air with us. Welcome to the show.
Hello?
Hi.
Am I in the air?
Yes, you are. What would you like to ask us?
First of all, good afternoon, and summer for you and David. You guys do a great job. And God bless you for everything. I just have a small comment. My brother is in Muslim nation. They just cannot believe that God can come to this creation through woman. You can tell them they can come through the mountain or through the fire or anything else. That's because a woman to them is really, is actually, it's degrade. It's like she's nobody. It's I don't know what to say. And in our Bible, who hates the woman so bad? Who hates it? I think it's Satan, because Mary, she bore the seed that when from first Genesis it says, the woman will have a son, and the seed of a woman will crush the head, of the. I don't know. It's in there, But I'm just saying that's what I will say. Why the woman is so badly treated in Islam? Because Satan did not like the woman. That's what I'm saying, and this is my comment. So they can believe anything else, but do not say God can come to creation through the woman. It can't, because they don't like women. That's my comment.
Yes, and
I'll just or wrong. I'm sorry.
Yes, and I agree completely. According to the Quran, Allah can appear in the fire. Well, what is fire better than a woman? You can't can't come through a woman. But you can appear in a fire. It's like it's saying that women are worse than a fire. And
yes.
Even though Allah can appear in a fire, he'd never appear in a woman. But here's an even bigger problem. A passage we read just a little bit earlier, the Quran, Surah 66, verse 12. And Mary, the daughter of Imran, who guarded her private parts, and we breathed therein of our spirit, and she verified the words of her Lord and his books, and was of the devout. So here you have, in the Quran, Allah is breathing into Mary's private parts in order for her to have Jesus. Allah breathes into Mary's private parts. Well, how can you say Jesus can't come out of a woman, the incarnate Lord cannot come out of a woman, when Allah is breathing into her private parts? This doesn't make sense. But I would just add one, if Muslims believe that women are so bad and that Allah just couldn't come out of a woman or something like, couldn't enter into his creation, he can appear in a fire, but he can't appear through a woman. If women are so bad, why did Allah make them that way? Why did he make them so bad? But second, I'll say the real reason, the real problem, apart from Islam's low view of women, the real problem is Muslims don't believe in a God who loves us enough to do something like that. In Christianity, we believe that God is all-powerful, so he can do anything he wants. If he wants to appear in this world, he can do that however he wants. And two, we believe in a God who is infinite in his love. So he loves us enough to do anything necessary for our salvation. But Muslims do not believe in a God who loves us that way. So consider just a few passages.